So we'll call the meeting to order at 5:33. And I guess first thing is adjustments to the agenda, if there are any. No? And then,
Make a motion that we approve the minutes of March 11th. Oh, I didn't find anything.
Second that for the purpose of discussion.
I thought there was a typo, but then when I reread it, it was...
I found one, but I
You
gave
did?
it to her before.
all right, well,
Game now.
And now if we start
The crossword.
for every typo, if we throw $1 in the pot.
I would, if I was her, I'd do it. I'd put a typo in there just to see if I
ourselves
can
out
keep
for-
putting typos in.
oh, sorry. Oh, boy. Okay, well, it's been moved and seconded. If there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, new business, annual financial plan, Form TA 60 for the town highways. And this is just basically to be sure that we're in compliance with, I guess, what, state mandated?
Yeah, we have to be
That,
spending at
least-
least 300.
And we're, what, 4,000 plus over for class 2. So we're easily in compliance with that.
This form we have to fill out every year.
It's our mileage and
No, it's the one that gives our financial plan after the budget passes. And it shows how much per mile we're spending on class 2 and class 3, and we have to spend more than 300 per mile, and we're certifying that we are, and so it needs to be signed once you guys.
I'll make a motion that we approve the annual financial plan in regards to the town highways.
Second that?
All right, it's been moved and seconded. If there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
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 So you want
Yeah,
our
just each
signatures?
sign, yeah.
Okay. Now the local emergency operations plan approval. This is an annual deal, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Basically just outlining who is the points of contact. I did send it to you guys in your email. It's pretty standard. Basically, it's the same as last year, just changing some names. That Steve's now the chair, and that Tom is the first line of contact.
Is that
Chris Fellows.
appropriate?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, Chris Fellows is the Deputy Emergency Management Director, and then I'm the third line of contact, and then I would contact you guys. So you just have to adopt or approve that plan, and then I'll sign it, and we'll be all in compliance with that.
Make a motion to adopt the emergency operations plan as revised.
I'll second that.
All right, if there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And we don't need to sign that.
No.
Does a map have to be in there, or does that just get in?
The what?
A map
I think that's in the bigger
in the bigger one?
plan.
Except it's on file, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's on file.
That's right. Okay.
Is that all signed? Yep. All right, so let me take those two things so that I can be sure that I take care of those tomorrow.
All right, so appointments for boards and commissions, and letters went out to, I guess we've got a list here. And so letters went out to all these people who are up this year, right?
Yep.
And have you heard anything?
No, I haven't heard anything from anybody. Laura, you said you haven't? Is that
There was
right?
one person who declined reappointment for the Animal Advisory Board, Sandra Hartley.
For what?
The
Oh,
Animal
yeah.
Advisory Board, Sandra Hartley.
Yeah.
So the list on the, in the top section under 2015 appointments, those people have had a letter sent out. We haven't heard back from any of those. If, like with Sandra, we heard back, so that is on the list of vacancies on the back. So I guess, trying to figure out how to do this tonight. If you want to do the appointments first, and then we'll talk about the committees, because I have some questions about those, or if you want me to just go ahead and talk about committees.
Why don't we clear up the paperwork? We can.
Okay, so
Usually.
under, if you go to the second page, there's current vacancies. Since a few days ago, I don't, Daniel came in yesterday and then Steve Voorhees sent me a letter today. Both of them have expressed, interest in serving on the Energy Committee. So I haven't had any more than the other ones that were already appointed, so if we appoint 2 more people, we're up to the 7 that we have said we want on the committee to begin with. That doesn't mean that the committee can't be expanded at some point to 9 maybe if we have more interest, but, so along with the appointments in the top section on the first page, you could add Energy Committee, of Daniel and Steve.
Those are committee. You said you wanted to wait.
Well, I know
wait
that
on
the Energy Committee that we do want, I know that that's a committee we want to keep, so.
The question is, I guess, whether some of these can be shelved.
Yeah,
Another one of these committees can be shelved.
I mean, we can do those first, then if that's less confusing, and then talk about the
Well, I
committees.
think
Do you
we
want
should
to
do
do that?
committees.
Okay.
If we're gonna do committees separately,
Okay.
let's do them separately.
So,
So I'll make a motion to accept I guess, fill the 2015 appointments for the positions that people have responded to or not responded negatively, deserving.
I don't know if maybe
How do
for
we
the,
wanna word
if
this?
when you redo the motion, if you want to
Exactly.
just kind of, I know that there's a lot of them, but just so people know which ones we're filling and who has accepted the appointments. So,
well, then,
I'll second it.
Okay.
okay,
Just,
All right, so
I mean, we can just read this slate.
just read the list.
yeah.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded to appoint for 2015. Should I give terms also, or?
I don't think you need
Don't
to.
need to.
So for the Community Advisory Board rep is Bradley King. Conservation Commission is Tom Hinckley. Conservation Commission, also Gina Palmieri. Connecticut River Joint Commission, Gino Palmieri. Connecticut River Joint Commission, Alice Mays. Development Review Board, 3 of them, Carl No, Mark Bowen, and Peter Loomis, who's an alternate. District 13 Ambulance Committee rep is Thomas Goddard. 3 fence viewers are Scott Henry, Joshua Laughlin, and Gene Litch. 2 Planning Commission, Jim Schweitzer and Randy Zitter. Zider. Was she still? Now that she's...
She does not live in Putney anymore,
Right.
but our planning commission and our DRB allow for non-residents as long as they're not making up a majority of the board.
Okay, that's right, okay. Rescue Inc. Board Representative is Norm Bartlett. Senior Solutions Rep, Elizabeth Stead, sorry. Surveyor of Wood and Lumber, Scott Henry. Town Service Officer, Lisa Papazian. Tree Warden, William Harlow. Weigher of Coal, Wayne Wagenbach. Wyndham Regional Rep, Alice Mays. And WSWMD Rep, Dan Toomey. So if there's no other discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. So in moving down to the committees, I guess one of the questions that we had as we were going through all of this is the Affordable Housing Committee. Is that a committee that we are still, I mean,
We should become active again, so whether we probably ought to get in touch with people specifically and see whether because some of these people haven't been, we haven't been active for a long time, but some of these folks also weren't active sort of prior to that, so, I'm not sure
so maybe
what to
that
say.
one
Maybe
we should
table
hold
that.
off?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have that list, I think, on my email, so I can send an email and see whether we can convene a meeting and see what we want to do.
Okay.
And then go from there.
We've got 10 folks listed on that committee right now. I mean, you could probably make it function certainly with a 7-person committee.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The
No,
expandability to it for,
Yeah,
as interest.
yeah,
lies
no, and
in
it would
sense,
be,
or the possibility of projects coming along that look like.
I just think, we've got I don't know, do you have any sense of when Depot Road might be?
When did there's a poster out there saying that availability of apartments is gonna be in the summer or July, was it
is when
July?
they're supposed to be done.
Yeah,
And
so
I
this
think
summer.
That's what they expect. They expect to have people in.
I mean, they're advertising them right now, so. Okay, so we'll, so
Get in
that,
touch, you and I can talk about that and
okay.
email that crowd and see what the scoop is.
And then the next one is the Public Safety Committee, and John came in today, or yesterday, and asked if they were gonna do anything, so I told him that it is we want that committee to become more active for a few reasons, the fire department discussion and that kind of thing, but I guess my question is, we had Herv on there and John McLaren from Landmarks, we had Herv from the school. Since there's a shift in kind of what we're gonna be talking about, do you think because it was more about rescue when we first talked about this, do we wanna open that one up to some more people that are not,
I would think so, yeah. I mean, and Herb, I think, my guess is he'll at least want to be on there until the best routes for school
Yeah,
thing is
safe
over.
route, yeah.
Right, safe routes for school thing is over, so.
which he might not even, because I'm keeping him updated with
Right.
that, but.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's probably some, or could go either way, but yeah, I think there are other people who would be, I don't know of anybody immediately offhand who would be interested, but we should try and involve a couple other people, I would
Okay.
think.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So we'll advertise that one when we do I don't remember if we set that one up with a certain number, if it was 5, we must have, that's why we have 5 down
We
there.
did.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that's a requirement, but I think that was what we decided
That's-
made sense.
Right.
Okay. Rec board, that's not us. You took the people off of there that were not on there, right? So rec board you should do tonight, definitely. Those are, we want White Whitney.
Yeah.
And then Wilson Wetlands, definitely. So I would say out of those committees, those 3, and then the Energy Committee with Daniel and Stephen, if you so choose to do that.
Now, the previous 5 people were already appointed, right?
Yes,
So it's
and
just
they've
a
been
matter of-
notified, and I think what I'll do after tonight is set up an agenda, set up a meeting for that first meeting, and then kind of, hopefully after that meeting, let them roll with it, whoever
Right.
becomes chair or whatever can be the meeting scheduler and put agendas together and that kind of thing. But I'll set up that first one so they can get together. So it would be Rec Board, White Whitney, Wilson Wetlands, and then the 2 for Energy Committee to complete that as a 7-member board right now, committee right now.
So do you want to read those names or not?
It's up to you guys. I mean, I think for the
For
audience.
Yeah,
they might-
So I'll make a motion to appoint on the rec board, Mike Barrett, Drew Gradinger, Cheryl Struthers, Josh Corson, Jen Short, Eric Lenhartz, Amy Newton, Jared Powers, Michelle Powers, and Megan Gauthier. For the White Whitney Oversight Committee, Steve Hazley, Kathy Bartlett, Patricia Field, Miriam Hunsaker, Eva Mondin, Emma Stewart. For the Wilson Wetland Stewardship Community, Ann Carey, Mary Quinn, Laura Gaudette, and Scott Henry. And to the Energy Committee, Steve Voorhees and Daniel Hovis.
All right, that's all the motion, I will second that.
I don't think you have to reread all those in your.
No,
No, as the moved and
you did
seconded.
the first one. I need a break on the second one.
If there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so before I forget, if you guys I can sign that one. This is for Lisa Papazian for the town service officer. You just need to sign there.
Now, as far as these vacancies, these will be reposted?
Yeah, and we're gonna talk about that next
Okay,
because I have
just-
some,
Right.
I need some guidance on a couple of them.
Another one or not? That's
Oh,
it.
that's me.
So just to clarify, the Public Safety Committee was part of that appointment that just happened, but.
Yes.
No.
Oh, no.
No, not the
sorry.
safety. The
We're
safety,
tabling it.
Okay.
that and affordable housing are taken.
I did send letters out to those saying that you wanted to write them out at some point.
Okay, so on the current vacancies, I'll put out an advertisement, you know, with a short, this is what the position is. I'll put it on iPutney. I've been putting like a manager's notes every month. I'll put it in there on iPutney, and I've been putting it on Front Porch Forum. We'll try to put it in the Commons. We'll put it as many places as we can, but I guess I need some guidance on what to do with the animal control officer stuff. I do have a phone call into, or an email into Peter Elwell, the new manager in Brattleboro.
New manager of animal control.
No, the town manager.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Steve and I went to the shared municipal services meeting over in Townsend the other night that Wyndham Regional put on. And Peter was there, and animal control was one of the things that people were interested in sharing services on. He, you know, of course he has to run it through the process down there as to what they could do, but so I've reached out to him. He's gonna call me back. I'm hoping that he's gonna say, sure, we'd love to offer you some type of agreement that obviously it's gonna cost more money than what we've been paying.
They don't have anybody
They
currently?
do, but
or-
they're part-time,
Uh-huh.
so they cut back their animal control staff, but, you know, if there's some towns that are willing to, you know, pitch
Might
in.
be able to up it to
Yeah,
a
I mean, they
full-time
have the person, they have a person, they have the equipment,
yeah.
they know the laws, that would be, but like I said, it's going to cost us some money compared to
More than
zero,
$100. Yeah, or whatever it was.
which we paid Henry, so, but, I mean, even Henry, as good as he was, you know, we didn't supply him with equipment, and, you know, he did what he
Right.
did, bare minimum, you know, tried to keep the cost down, but it started, I mean, we had somebody call about a dog bite today. Thankfully, it didn't turn out to be, I mean, Tom was gonna take care of it for me as health officer and, you know, do what needed to be done, but I am afraid of dogs myself. So for me to go out on an animal control call would
Probably not the best idea.
well, we'd probably end up with me getting bit, and then, yeah, this wouldn't be good.
We need backup, right?
Yeah.
We'll get you a taser.
I mean, the sheriff's department, I did talk to Keith. He is willing to have a conversation again if there are several towns that are interested. The feeling that I got from the meeting the other night is they were more apt to want to go with a Brattleboro type situation, you
Right.
know, share with other towns, not necessarily have a contract with the sheriff's department for it. That was the sense that I got.
Yeah,
Is that what you
definitely.
got?
Yep.
So,
Has anybody ever approached the Humane Society about, you know, sort of that route, that non-governmental route?
yeah, I don't,
I seem
I
to
don't know.
remember,
Yeah.
I think there's been that
For some reason,
discussion.
it's
and
Ring, some.
I don't think they have the personnel and
That's-
or
it's the
the
personnel.
Right, but
willingness.
would it be something they're interested in? You know,
Seems
or
to me,
a
no.
direction that
I
they'd wanna
think we've
grow
had
in?
that conversation, but
yeah, and
They
they
are
won't
the
even, they won't
go-to-
take an animal that's a dog bite or any of,
Oh, they won't?
No,
Okay,
the only
I thought
ones.
they were the go-to.
No, they won't take, if we have a dog bite situation,
Right,
they
what
will
is
not
that?
take the animal.
Who?
Well,
do they go
what
with
we've
those
done in the
then?
past is the people have to self-quarantine the animal,
I
we
see.
check on them.
Okay.
I have had a vet, The last time we had a dog bite situation, I did contact a vet that they were like the very last resort. If we need to somewhere to quarantine it, they will take it.
Right.
But thankfully in that
Humane
situation,
intervention, but no.
Henry was checking on them every day.
Yep, I mean, it was.
Yeah. So, I mean, I personally, I mean, I've had problems with animal issues in Westminster, and I get really upset that it's not more of
There
a
isn't.
police
Yeah.
because it's dangerous.
Yeah.
And we're talking about not just animals, we're talking about people that are fighting with each other over animals.
Right.
And I'm just not equipped to do. I gave the sheriff's department my cell phone number to call me if there's an issue on the weekend. They had an issue last weekend, and they didn't have anybody to call.
What does, out of curiosity, what does Westminster do? Or do they have a animal
They
control?
do, but I think that they're still kind of in the same boat as
Right.
us. It's not somebody that's, you know, it's hard. These people are, especially like with Henry, he worked full time. You know, if there was a
Right.
Yeah.
extreme.
No, I think that, you know, I agree, law enforcement would be ideal. I think that if we have somebody that's, you know, like the Brattleboro situation, if we have somebody that's trained and equipped properly, and we need law enforcement in addition for other reasons, then we have that available to us. But I think that it would be, you know, there needs to be somebody, either county, you know, whatever the situation
Yeah.
is, there needs to be somebody.
So I guess
This
the
is what they
question
do.
for right now, is this a position that I should be trying to fill? Or should I give it a couple more weeks and see what I can come up with? I mean, because I'm looking at the kind of advertising for these positions, and I'm not sure. The other one is constable. I think we're required by law to appoint somebody, but I don't really know what we're expecting our constable to do. So I just don't want to put an ad out for something that we may be in a month trying to figure a different route.
Right.
I don't know.
Is it uncompensated? Is there no compensation at all for an animal control officer? I mean, I know Henry didn't.
We have a line item in our budget, like I think it's like $1,000.
Right.
But it's not a lot.
But we have in the past had to spend
Yeah.
money
Right.
from the general fund in order to cover expenses related
Right.
to animal
Yeah.
control, so.
But if we end up going with Brattleboro, then we're definitely going to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're gonna be.
Paying something.
Yes, definitely.
I mean, I don't think it would hurt to put an ad out.
Yeah, I'm not sure what, I don't
You
think
know,
it
to
would
see if
either.
there's someone available. you know,
And I think we'd just be straightforward with them as to what the situation is and.
Okay, so I'll put those out and see.
Right now,
I mean, there is gonna be
the
a
person that
question.
serves in that position specifically constable as well as the animal control officer?
No.
Or are we,
No.
right, okay.
I mean, they're
Right,
two
you wanna
separate-
Make sure that you clarify that, right, that it's,
Now, Henry
And-
didn't do any, you know, he wasn't doing any real, like, what do I want to say? He
because I
wasn't-
want to say, we probably did not carry a constable for quite a while after a point where.
I think we did, 'cause Bill-
eliminated the office.
I think Bill Graham was
did Bill-
constable for a while,
And
I'm not sure if,
and then I don't remember in between.
I think that's when Bill passed away, I think that's when Henry stepped
Stepped
forward
in,
and
is that
asked
right?
if he could
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, and he didn't do any law enforcement stuff. He would do civil stuff like serve, you know.
Right, well, because
I
there
mean,
was
Yeah.
that's,
changes went on at the state level about that.
Yeah, you
about
have to have
the
training in
duties
order
and
to do it, yeah.
Level of training, right, exactly.
So, okay, so I'll put it out there and see.
see what we got.
I guess, so the question is right now, one of the questions is gonna be, is it compensated? So I guess if someone's interested, I guess I'll just take and let them know right now, we have not budgeted for that, but. I mean, I always tried to get Henry to even let us pay for training. Sometimes he wouldn't even let us do that, but.
Yeah, no, I mean, we'd certainly be willing to pay
talk
for
about it,
training
yeah.
for somebody, and I think we'd be willing to have that discussion.
Okay.
What about any equipment? Any equipment that Henry had, was that his own?
I think so. I don't even know that he really
I
had
don't think he
anything.
really, yeah, I don't think he
You know,
did.
might have had a
something used
blanket in his
or-
car.
Okay.
Because him and I talked about that a lot. I was like, Henry, if you need something, just tell me. I will get you whatever you need, because he was just kind of doing it.
Doing it.
Yeah.
I guess the other thing, did he keep records as far as like
Yeah.
the number? I mean, because that, I mean, as far as compensation, maybe we can kind of see,
What
you know,
exactly
how many
that
calls a
entails,
year he
right.
does.
Yeah.
And then,
What it took.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was bringing those into me for a while. I'll ask him about them and have him kind of give us a summary of what like a typical, yeah.
call, how long
Yeah,
it
I mean,
took.
we didn't have a call for what, 3 months, Laura, over the winter, and all of a sudden we've gotten, you know,
Bang,
spring
bang,
comes
yeah.
and dogs are running around.
Oh, yeah, I've seen a bunch on Westminster Road.
So, I mean, thank God Tom is here, because when I called him today, I was like, Tom, I'm not going down to talk to those people about those. I don't even know what to do with a dog bite. I mean, I don't.
Mhm.
And so he took care of it. But. So, okay, so those were that was kind of the thing that and then the energy coordinator stuff, that's gonna be after they discuss it at a meeting, at their first meeting? Is that
I think that
I think, yeah, I think the discussion would happen there, and then.
okay, and then we can decide if we need,
They can decide how and who becomes a coordinator.
okay. I'll put a Wyndham Regional Rep ad out, but I know one thing that Alice comes to me and is kind of there's not like a direction from us as to what we're looking for, so I don't, you know, she would be glad to come and report to us once in a while, but I keep in pretty close contact with Wyndham Regional, so,
And there's only one, right?
yeah, there's one opening.
Mal was on for a while, right? But
Yeah,
she's-
that's right, that's who it was.
Yeah.
So,
Um,
all right, so we'll put that out and see what we get for interest. Oh, I almost forgot the Ruby thing. The other position we need to talk about is Ruby has sent me a letter. Are you? Okay. Ruby has sent a letter of resignation, an email of resignation. So as of today, she's not a lister anymore. She's got some, you know, she's got little kids and another job, and
Mhm.
so that will be another position that we will put out there for an appointment. I don't know if you have anything to say about it, Kathleen?
Yeah, I found this as far as the, ad goes, I guess. This is what we put out last time when we got Chris Land and Tom. So I just thought I'd bring it up so we could look at it again.
When they want to find out how many hours it would be,
Yeah, they can talk with me.
Okay.
It would be easier,
okay,
yeah.
because I think that could be the real,
Yeah, it's very few because we have a different cycle throughout the year, and we just have deadlines to meet. Like right now, we're very busy. But I wanted you guys to know that we're actually in very good shape. One of the things that happens at the Lister Board, which is very beneficial, is that everybody on the board knows all the chores. Some people know them better than others, but everybody knows what they are. So that way, if something happens like this, you know, it's a busy time and Ruby steps down, it isn't like a critical situation. I mean, it was kind of surprising, but it didn't throw us into critical place. And, you know, it does look like our April 1st deadline will be met, and the June 4th one will be met. You know, I mean, for the most part, everything is running along pretty well. I mean, Ruby's had difficulty getting here because of various things, so when the work was piling up, it was just slowly getting done anyway. And that's how it is. But there are busy times and super slow times,
Right.
which is why it isn't just a, you know,
It's an average over the course of the year.
right, right,
Must be a resident, correct?
yeah.
It doesn't say that.
It does, I think, on the link, the PDF link, yeah, because it goes into more,
Also, two TN. Instead of
Okay.
that.
Can I take that one? Because I
All right, boy.
but if you guys come up with any questions about anything, you know, I mean, even after tonight, just contact me and I'll let you know.
Sounds
All
good.
right, thanks. All right, so that's it for that fun stuff. Yeah, now back to continued discussion for a committee for tax exempt properties.
So I didn't get this to you earlier, sorry, because I just did it tonight. before I came here. So I think at the last meeting, we talked about some different, we had some different thoughts about what this committee was going to do. And so I just wrote up this, you know, what the purpose of the committee was and, you know, how big should the committee be and who's responsible for appointing and then when they will meet and what their responsibility is. So basically, I stated that the purpose of the committee is to review the Vermont state statutes that apply to property that qualify for tax exempt status, examine all of the properties that have a property tax exempt status in the town of Putney, and compile data and answers following to the following questions. Obviously, this list can be added to. It's just kind of to give people a start. And then committee members, the select board shall appoint members to the committee, and it shall be made up of 7 members. Appointments made in March with a 1-year term. Talks about the chair is responsible for setting up meetings. And I put this in here because we have a lot of committees right now, and I want to make sure that they meet. And so putting somebody in, you know, that's responsible for that and knowing it right up front.
Yep.
Then they'll meet at least once a month, and I'll set up that first meeting, and then agendas and minutes must be posted in accordance with open meeting law. And then the committee will report to the select board on a regular basis, and then I would hope that there would be some findings for the annual report ready in December. Because even if somebody doesn't come forward asking for a tax exemption next year, at least at town meeting, we can report
Right.
what this committee has talked about. So, unless there's something you guys want to add to this, or I have had people send in some letters or emails that are interested in being on this committee. I would put this out the same time I put everything else out.
I think that makes sense.
Sorry,
I
keep
would
stealing your
probably
pen.
change that to what are these organizations.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Because it's not the property.
It's not the
right?
property
What is that?
itself. I mean, I was gonna say somewhere in here that, you know, answer these questions, not limited to the, I mean, I want it to be,
Yeah,
to be something to say that, you know, or whatever.
to amongst other things,
Yeah.
or,
Yeah, so I can add something like that to it as well, so that people aren't tied to these questions.
Right, well, it's bound to generate,
Yeah,
it's gonna
yeah.
generate a ton more questions as you just
Yeah.
went through each of
Regarding use
these.
of property is, you know,
Yeah.
it's pretty broad brush.
You're right on this one. If you're, I'm sorry, I keep giving you a pen, don't I? That's terrible. I'll put
I guess
this one in my
this
hand.
Here, Josh, give her this one that's not writing anymore.
Already,
There you go.
the percentage. I guess this last kind of implies, I mean, part of it, or maybe this all does it. Part of
Yeah,
it too is
this
just
was in
trying
the
to.
minutes, so that's why I
Right.
put,
But just trying to understand the statutes. I mean, because that was, I mean, we even found that there was
Right, of
discrepancies depending upon who you asked.
Yeah.
You know, between an attorney and the state, for example.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I could cross that one off because that will be answered when they review the Vermont state statute.
Well, I think maybe just get rid of that and just, can we exempt a property in part,
Okay.
would be fine. Yeah, and
and
So
that,
just because there's people here, I'm gonna read the ones that I put on there.
so the questions are,
Go ahead.
you want to read this whole thing?
Well, just because somebody here might have another question to add to it.
Tax exempt committee. The purpose of the tax exempt committee is to review the Vermont state statutes that apply to property that qualify for tax exempt status. Examine all of the properties that have a property tax exempt status in the town of Putney and compile data and answers to the following questions. What economic impact do these properties have on the town? What impact do these organizations have on town services? Clarity regarding use of property. What percentage, these are all questions except that one.
Yeah, I
So
know.
The following questions, let's see.
What is the use of the, you
could say something like compile the mission statements associated with exempt properties. Or brief
although that's
summary.
part of the problem with the landmark ones, we had their mission statement, but we didn't know exactly what
Right,
that particular
right.
property was being used for.
well, maybe does the use of the property
Fit within the tax exempt.
right?
Criteria, yeah. that's not sure.
Does the use of property fit tax exempt status?
Tax exempt, tax exempt.
Guidelines.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, the guy,
it's kind of both, though, isn't it? Does it fit the guidelines, but also, does it matter? You know,
Does it-
Right.
if someone's
Does
going
it
to
fit
buy
tax
something,
exempt status.
parameters?
Guidelines. Does the use of the property fit tax exempt status? Or are there other compelling reasons?
right? Yeah, something. I think.
That's why somewhere we need to put something about, like, this isn't,
Right.
It's in stone.
Not reinventing the wheel,
As example-
but perhaps explaining the wheel
Yeah,
a
well,
little
even
bit.
just put it as an example
Yeah.
of questions to pursue.
yeah.
So I rewrote that as, this is the third question, does the use of the property fit tax exempt guidelines, or are there other compelling reasons to
Yeah.
exempt the property? What percentage of property in town is tax exempt? And can we exempt a property in part?
And that is referring to whether they can be exempt town tax, but not
Education.
education.
Or any other,
Any
Or other combination,
Yeah.
okay.
It also, and I don't know, but can part of the property be exempt? i.e., can the property be exempt but not the structure on it, or vice versa?
Right.
You know, something along those
For
lines.
example of, right, the Greenwood School, those.
Right, exactly,
Right,
yeah.
We have a specific example to address there.
And then the committee members, the select board shall appoint members of the committee and shall be made up of 7 members. Appointments are made in March with a 1-year term. We might want to clarify that that wouldn't be the case on this round. I mean, if somebody's interested,
Yeah.
they might think, oh, I just missed the deadline. kind of
Well, I'll
thing.
put that
So-
like in
on the side
yeah.
or something for
Yeah.
the overview. With a 1-year term, a committee chair will be appointed at the first meeting, and the chair will be responsible for setting up meetings, posting agendas, posting minutes, and communicating with the town manager on a regular basis. Meetings, the committee will meet at least once a month, with the first meeting set up by the town manager and subsequent meetings by the committee chair. The meeting agendas and minutes must be posted in accordance with open meeting law. The committee will report to the select board on a regular basis and will provide a report of their findings for the annual town report in December.
So the other thing that I just want, we have more than 7 people that are interested right now.
Yeah, I was
So,
gonna say we should have more than 7.
well, that's my question. So, I mean, I put 7 just because you want to have a manageable group of people, but I don't want to exclude, I mean, obviously the meetings are open to the public.
Right.
Anybody can come and, you know, so I'm just preparing you guys for that discussion of you're going to have to choose
who are the
if we
chosen
have,
ones?
yeah. And that's okay. It's good that we have that much interest because you want a diverse group of people, but then again, it's up to you guys if you want to make it 9.
9.
It doesn't matter to me. I just was picking a number to write this document.
Maybe it should be up to 9.
Right, I mean, you know, as a,
Yeah, because they're not going to be making like voting decisions. So I mean, you're not going to be voting on.
No, they're really compiling information.
Exploratory. And that's why I wonder too, if, I mean, I know 9 is a
you
lot.
should
but-
always be able to have that, to break a logjam, and just in case. I mean, invariably, there's going to be, you know, you reach a point where there's.
We can say up to 9 though.
Right, oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
size-wise.
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
Between 5 and 9 is seems pretty
If
manageable.
there is the possibility
Much more than
of, you know, some people might be interested in different parts of this. I don't know, there's a possibility of subcommittees.
Sure.
Maybe there's a lot of people that are really up on the law.
Yeah.
You know, who could really investigate that portion of it and then bring it back.
Yeah. I mean, I think
Right,
that,
but
I mean,
again,
what we're
that's why
gonna,
you have an odd number.
Right, oh, yeah,
You
yeah.
just simply have people with an axe to grind or something. you know,
Right.
That
Yeah, definitely,
want to be
yeah.
heard.
Yeah.
all right, so I'm gonna
So,
say up to 9.
But
Okay.
I don't think 9 is too unruly.
No.
It's reasonable.
No, we'll be getting them most of the time.
Just
all 9
imagine
don't show
9
up.
of us.
But if they're open too, that means
Right.
that people can still.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I
Attend and
told,
discuss and
and I told Peter
ask
that I would
questions.
contact him and let him know when the meetings were so that they could send somebody to Landmark to listen and, you know, they're not, won't be on the committee, it'll be, you know, Putney School, the same, well, any tax exempt organization that wants to hear what people are talking about or, you know,
Right.
Yeah.
are welcome to
Concerned
know.
parties can come.
Actually, I know a
Speak to
couple
them.
people that'll be interested in it. Can you, when you retype that, can you just email it to us or to me?
Yeah. But well, I'll put this out at the same time. You guys are,
Yeah.
once I email this to you, guys are good with what, I mean, we don't have to adopt it or anything. I just want to make sure that I got the general gist of what we were trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Okay.
All right, moving on, town manager's report.
I was just gonna let you guys know about I went up to that, Senator Leahy's environmental summit up at Echo Center up in Burlington for 2 days. The group that I was with, which was the Community Resilience Organization teams that have been formed, we were kind of like a hodgepodge mix of people that didn't have a clue what we were supposed to do there. We did have Rebecca Stone, who was here that night with Peg. She kind of led our team. Most of the people that were there had a project that they were bringing to this meeting and that they were trying to hone in on and make it better. So it was 2 days of basically really sitting at a table talking to each other, coming up with ideas, and so our group was a little, I mean, I learned a lot. It was interesting. Senator Leahy spoke, and they had a lot of really good speakers about climate change and flooding and being a resilient community. But Alyssa from Wyndham Regional was there, and she was at our table. By the time we got to the end of it, I really felt like maybe Putney and the community resilience teams were not, that it wasn't necessary that we have one. And the reason that I say that is because in listening to other towns that don't have as much communication as we do in Putney, they need it. But everything they talked about was like, oh, well, we work with the Conservation Commission, we work with the Wetlands Committee, we work with Fire and Rescue, and during our hazard mitigation planning, we do all that. We do everything that this team is gonna do. And it really felt like what we were gonna end up doing is going to Virgins for 2 days and sit and talk about the same thing. So I'm gonna get together with Tom, Mike Moricky, and Amelia Struthers are the other ones that are on this team, and talk to them and see how they feel about it. And then Alyssa really wants our hazard we have to update our hazard mitigation plan, so that's planned for April 14th, another meeting. So I'm gonna invite all the same people that were at the original hazard mitigation meeting. But I think what we wanna do is change the plan to a hazard mitigation / resiliency plan, instead of just about roads, and it'll be about everything. Any emergency situation, any hazard that we can think of that might come our way, and what is our plan to handle it, and have it all in one document. So I'll see how the rest feel about that weekend. And if the town still wants to have a team, it may be better to send someone else besides me, to let them learn a little bit more about all this. Then I feel pretty in tune with everything that's kind of going on, and people really, so we'll see.
You got a question?
I just want to thank you for going and spending all that time. It
Yeah.
doesn't sound overly fruitful, but I'm wondering if maybe the conversation could be more about an energy descent action plan that addresses sustainability and some of these issues from a different point of view.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things that Alyssa and I talked about, was incorporating even those things into this other, so that we all have one document that we can look at, and make sure that, you know, we're going through that document as a checkoff of, okay, if this happens, you know, will our well work? You know, that's a big, you know, I want to get it so that if we have everything shut off around us, can we operate and still really, you know, I just feel like Putney is really, it's pretty well, you guys really talk, and you so Alyssa just kept saying to me, I don't get what this is for. You know, you guys are doing all this already. You guys, you know, and that's why I want to make sure when we have that hazard mitigation meeting again, that we have as big a group as we had before, which was, you know, it was conservation, it was emergency, it was our neighboring towns, it was, you know, energy I want to have all that at that meeting. And then I think after that meeting, we can decide that, do we have a plan, and do we have the people in place already that would be working on this other project that's the same thing. It just felt like we were duplicating efforts. If we're going to have a big group at that meeting, do we really have another meeting to talk about resiliency, or do we do it all in this one spot? So,
Well, interesting, I think, like you say, putting it all in the same document actually increases resiliency.
Yeah.
Because you don't have all that red tape,
Right.
bureaucracy of trying to figure out what, you know, jumping.
Tool to update.
It's all,
you know, and right now they're working really hard on the town plan and the flood regulations. So all of that discussion can happen at that one meeting. You know, if it doesn't end up being that one meeting that we figure it all out, that's fine.
Then we go on from there.
Then we go on from there.
No, and it might be worth, like with committees, you know, just making sure that
Yeah.
committees review it, et cetera, so that
Yeah, and I mean,
So that they're aware of it.
the ultimate goal is to get that document approved by FEMA. But it's really, I want to look at it more as not a FEMA document so that we get our 90% or whatever it is. I want it to be a guiding document for us for both hazard resiliency type things. And make sure that the town plan is actually written in accordance with, so everything's kind of flowing together, instead of always just doing it because we have a deadline and we have to have it done.
right.
You know, if we're going to spend this time doing it, let's make sure that it's going to be helpful to us. So that's basically what I mean, I learned a lot of other stuff there that I didn't, you know, I don't normally. It was a long 2 days. It was just a lot of hard work and thinking, but it was, you know, it was good. We met people from all over the state and from all different perspectives. So it was good. But that's basically all I had for my report, and I don't have a budget status report. We're doing
Okay.
fine.
We'll make it to the end of the year.
Oh, I didn't get the warrants,
Fiscal year.
or would you find those?
So warrants, all right. Great, other business.
I don't have any.
Ben,
I got an email that dog licenses are due. And I have a question as to whether the select board, town manager, and/or treasurer, what steps they've taken to eliminate the problem that we have had. What specific steps, direction to the town treasurer have taken place.
The reality is that because the treasurer is an elected position, the select board can't give direction to the treasurer. The treasurer is her own entity. We have had the discussion in open meeting as to, you know, our concern about it and people's concerns have been voiced. But we don't have a means of sort of enforcing a policy or an action that we could take. So it is, for all practical purposes, out of our hands. I think that the treasurer has clearly heard people's complaints, has done most, if not all, of the remedying of the past issue as far as being caught up with her side of it.
What I do know that's been done, I can update you on that, is I know that the fiscal year 14 payments have been deposited. I know that fiscal year 13, the cash, I think all of the cash has been deposited from the 3 years. What her plan is in contacting people about the checks that are still sitting here, I don't know. I don't know if she's moved ahead with that. We're in the process of going through the information she's given us with regards to what is owed to the state. And I need to reconcile it with what I recorded as what I thought was owed to the state. So we're in that process right now. But I guess she would have to speak as to what she is, my hope is that she will deposit the money for the dog licenses this year.
In a timely fashion.
I will keep asking, but,
It's a key definition, timely fashion. When you talk about the receipts for 2014, this is a third of 2015.
Right.
So if they haven't, 2014 hasn't been deposited, then the situation has not been remedied.
Yeah.
And the chief financial officer for the town of Putney, is that the town manager?
Mm-hmm. That's a big title, I like that one.
Well,
Chief Financial,
congratulations.
yes. I'm the financial person, yes.
Is it within the purview of the chief financial officer for the town of Putney to say that we, in conjunction with our banking institution, have a check cashing machine that is on the desk, and when a check is issued for a dog license or any other check, that it's scanned and it is immediately deposited? Is that within the purview of the chief financial officer to say, this is a procedure that the town is instituting?
My answer would be no. I don't think that it is. Because it's not within my ability to force a procedure on her. She has through statute, she has the responsibility of investing and depositing money.
I think what the chief financial officer could do if that decision was made was have that option available. I don't know whether that makes sense or not. That's something you'd have to think about and or we'd have to think about. Could we make it happen? No. We could have that option potentially available. I don't know whether that's a, economically viable option. I don't know what the expenses involved are.
We could have I could set it up, I could have the bank bring it in, but I can't make her run them through it. Make her run those checks through that machine, and I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure that I might have better luck trying to get her to use our cash receipts module in posting payments to make it easier to reconcile and deposit on a more timely fashion than getting her to use that machine. I'll try anything.
And there is no definition of a timely fashion.
It's probably
Monthly, quarterly, semi-annually.
My
but there's
definition
no
is
Weekly.
right away.
or daily, yeah.
30 days.
But we can't enforce that, so it's not our purview. It's we can recommend that, and that's all we can do. And we've again had the discussion that we would like to have things done in a more timely fashion. We haven't, because it's not our purview to set policy on that. We haven't come up with a specific definition of that, but I think the sentiment has been clearly stated.
Perhaps someone could have that discussion with the town treasurer and report back at the next select board meeting as to the results of that discussion.
Which discussion?
About having a check what you're
Possibly,
asking.
Maybe you could ask the town treasurer for her definition of a timely fashion.
Or we could ask the treasurer to be here if,
I'll have a conversation with her.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, if that's, I feel a little bit like it's sort of playing telephone. I mean, if you want your questions answered directly, then.
But the reason I haven't done that, I'd like it on the public record, and I was unable to go to the town meeting.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah.
No, I can absolutely have a conversation with her. And, tell you guys at the next meeting, or invite her to come and explain herself.
Yeah, we could give her the option to do that, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
I don't have any other business.
Okay. Do we need to
Other
do
business?
warrants
Yeah.
before old business, or?
I forgot about that.
We don't have to.
We don't have to, we can just start.
Yeah.
So old business, we've got highlighted, jeez, I'm getting blinder by the day, it seems like. Gassett Road vacant building.
Okay, so I had brought this up at the last meeting regarding this building on Gassett's Road. That's at, what did I say the address was? 15 Gassett Road. And I did send a letter out to the last known where we send the tax bill and the last known contact, just asking them what their intention was if this building, with this building, that we're concerned of it collapsing, that it might fall in the road. So I guess what I'm wondering from you guys is, do we want to go to the next step to remove it have the town remove it? This is a picture of it. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but remove it ourselves. I don't know exactly what the process is, but I know that once we do it, the cost of it can be put on against a lien against the property.
And she's current on her taxes?
No.
No?
Is it 1 year, Laura? 2? 1. So,
Any idea what
Yeah,
that
that-
amount is? Don't give it a minute.
Other than the fact that it's been on our old business list for a really long time, is there any urgency that wasn't previously present?
the main reason I brought it up again now was because a resident contacted me about it, concerned about
Somebody
it.
did.
Yeah.
Safety issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did talk to Tom about it. He's not when he originally brought it up, he was more concerned about it because there were people that are actually trying to live in there.
Right.
But I did have a resident bring it up and send me that picture, so that's why it's kind of come back to the top of the list. I mean, I don't know, Tom doesn't seem overly concerned with it falling into the road. I mean, Steve said he went and looked at
I
it.
don't think it'll fall in the road, but it
Yeah,
could fall on somebody.
It is, right, or somebody fooling around in the
Yeah.
building.
Yeah. And it could be a kid.
yeah.
Yeah, Daniel.
If you are looking for an alternate to taking it down, you might want to speak with Eric Kruger, who still does that kind of operation and can reuse some of the materials if they're at all usable.
I still haven't
Yeah.
heard from June. I know he was on that. I had tried to call him to see what he knew about it because I know that they contacted him. I'm pretty sure they contacted him at one time about taking it down, but he's still, I haven't heard back from him.
With a match.
Couple weekends.
Yeah, but I'm gonna contact Deconstruction Works too, just
Okay.
to see. He
You'll
can
do
take-
that?
Yeah, he can
Okay.
take a look at it and, yeah. But yeah, I looked at it and it's pretty much compost at this point.
I don't know.
Is June still laid up?
I'm assuming so. I mean, I
Okay.
didn't try to call him back yet because I didn't want to bug him, but
Right.
I can
What do you have
that.
done? Knees?
Knee surgery.
Is this the only one?
So, do we,
Well, how about if I get hold of Eric Kruger and
Okay.
then
we'll go from there.
have him take a look at it?
And get an actual number from Derek's when they
Yeah.
have, or, you could also call June and say, if this isn't something you're available for, just find out, because we
Yeah.
could have somebody else look at it too. Who could
Okay.
do the same thing.
Okay.
You said that was 15 Cassett Road?
Yeah. I will send one more letter. I didn't send the first one certified. I'll send the next one certified and let them know that we are moving
That's the
ahead
intention.
with.
And that
Yeah.
responsibility, the financial responsibility would be theirs.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
All right, so streetlight.
Okay,
policy
so this was another one I just kind of didn't send it out earlier because I'm gonna pass that back. Okay, so I wanted to just, this is the inventory of the streetlights that we currently have. Do you want this, Daniel? It's a copy of the streetlights that we do have. So what I did was remember I had the intern come in and she made this map for me. That shows all of the municipal streetlights and then all of the private ones. And she went out and looked at everything, kind of made some notes. We ended up with this streetlight inventory list, which there's 4 of them on here that are school. The rest are ours. We pay for 33 streetlights, and they're all on this list.
And is that what Green Mountain Power?
That is what Green
thinks
Mountain
we
Power-
would
yep.
Pay for it?
Yep. So, along with that, Daniel had originally sent me some wording for a policy. Emily, when she was working with me, came up with this policy that you see in front of you, which incorporates all of the things he had on his, unless, if he finds something, we can change it, but, basically just giving us a way to allow someone to, if they're requesting a streetlight be put somewhere, or if the board, or if a municipal official, or if a town, someone from town is requesting a light be put somewhere, that we have some guidance. Or if someone's requesting one be taken down, we have some guidance and a procedure to follow for that to happen. So if you want to just take a minute to look at those. I'm confident, once we decide this is okay for a policy, or if we want to edit it, we want to add some things, we want to take some things away, then we can go ahead with looking at if there's any currently that we're thinking about that need to come down. The most blaring one that I come out with is the one out on River Road near Fort Hill.
Right.
The rest of them are pretty, oops.
There's one up on West Road.
I think that's private, isn't it? Didn't we, near Goodell's you're talking about?
There, I think the one on West Road, that was an extra one that was above the 33 that we pay for, and the school is paying for 4. And that was the only extra one I could find.
No, it's farther up, I'd have to go look at the map.
Well, someone thought that maybe that was a bus stop at one point.
Yeah, that was,
Where I don't
would make
have,
sense as to why the
It's
school.
down by Goodell's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what I mean.
Roads.
Where am I?
It's right here, it's this one, yeah,
Yep.
48,957.
Right, so so 48,957.
This is Goodell Farm.
Okay.
Yeah, see that one,
North is that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
okay, right.
school.
Yep, that's it.
that one I have labeled as school because that was the only extra one because we're only paying for 33 and the school's paying for 4.
Yeah, there's no need for that light there.
Does
Well,
anybody?
that's not one that I don't know, I would have to contact this, it's not our light.
The school's paying for it, so maybe we should talk to, because it may well have been a
Yeah.
bus stop. There are now school.
He's got them again.
They've got kids
Yeah.
that go to the central school. Whether they intend to bus them or not, I don't know. So
So
we might
West
wanna
Road, and then
just
there's
inquire
one
with the
out
school
on,
about that.
the one on River Road was the other, so I'll mark those two.
So are you saying that bus stops are now places where we would, in some cases or all cases, put a light?
Well, this is the school is paying for it, so it's not town responsibility. Does that mean that we would put a light there? Not necessarily now. The fact that it's there and the school is paying for it, I would say makes it so they should maybe be involved in that decision. I don't know.
Yeah, sure, well, yeah. One of
They
my
probably don't even
concerns-
know they're paying for it.
My concern is that this streetlight policy is somewhat different than the one I submitted, and there hasn't really been a comparison that I know about. This is the first time I'm seeing it, so,
Right, that's why it says draft.
yeah, sure. I just, so I don't have the other one in front of me to make any kind of comparison. I'm just wondering, if it was all included in this, that's great, but then, so.
Yeah, you can take, this isn't something that has to be approved
don't-
tonight. I went through the one you gave me and made sure your points were in here.
Great. thank you.
So they're just in a different format, but you can
Yeah, and
go
that's
through it and,
great.
yeah.
So it's probably, and the one on River Road is also paid for by the school?
No, that
or
one's
not?
out, that one's ours.
Yeah, that doesn't seem, that seems also like it might well have been a school bus turnaround at one point, because
So
that's
that one
about
definitely
the,
is on the
That's-
list.
that's about the last house
That's,
in,
well, actually,
isn't it?
both, I think Westminster turns around there too,
Oh, do they?
I think.
When I talked to Tom, I did talk to Tom, on yours, Daniel, it had something about hydrants. So I talked to Tom and he didn't necessarily feel like the hydrants needed
Okay, great.
streetlights. He did ask about a streetlight down by the fire station, but of adding one, but I don't know where he's talking about, so I'd have to go look at what he's talking about. But,
Yeah, it makes sense in front of the fire station as an entrance light.
yeah,
It's gonna make sense there as you have a parking lot.
Yeah.
Streetlight.
so that was one that he suggested maybe adding, but,
And so, this one should be, the school should be asked about it, presumably.
they'll probably want other
But
people.
the one on River Road, what do we want to do as far as, if it's unnecessary, which it certainly appears to be.
Well, I think that my thought is once we say this is going to be the policy,
Right.
then what I would do is I want to
Review each light. kind of
review.
thing.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe not each one, but
Right.
at least that one. I would like to contact people out there to find out.
Yeah, whether-
What would if we took that light away all of a sudden?
Who would
what
be affected by it?
Yeah, they may say nobody. We've always thought it was stupid. I don't know why
Right,
it's there,
yeah.
or we may hear that. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But at that point, it doesn't seem like it's anything that's needed if people aren't. So,
And these all are now in LEDs, right?
Except one is
yeah,
listed
there
as
was one that
old.
wasn't.
The school still has several old lights.
Okay.
I talked to them about,
Oh, I see, I didn't see this before.
Yeah, I think all the ones
Yeah.
that she found, they were all new, yeah.
Except for the
Except
one.
for, there's 2 lights in the school parking lot that are old.
Right. There's one light at the school basketball area. I don't know if they've changed that out, but that's also old.
Yeah,
Last
she
time I checked.
probably, is that the one, I wonder if that's the one she's talking about, school,
Playground.
pool road by the pool, she put it as new,
Okay, it may have been changed recently.
yeah.
Yeah. Then there's also, the school has 2 high-intensity lights that illuminate a parking area that used to be the area that people ice skated in.
The hockey rink.
That's a different set of lights as well.
Yeah, that she didn't put on here, so, put it on the,
It's, they'd be back here.
yeah, so those aren't even marked as a.
Is there any reason those would be considered private? I mean, if they're not our, they're, well,
They may not be green
why
mountain.
are some school ones, why are some school ones on here and some not? That may be,
That may be lighting that was added by the school.
it may also come from, it may come directly from a circuit at
Well, and it's
the
probably,
school.
it's not, these right here are utility
Are
poles.
fed by, yeah.
Yeah, so these, if they
Stand-
put
stand
poles
alone.
out here
Right.
themselves,
They
they
did.
wouldn't be on here.
They're utility poles,
Yeah.
but they were put in by.
Right.
By private.
And I can't remember who it was, yeah.
Volunteer
Yeah.
situation.
Would the rec league have?
No, I actually want to say, long ago, I believe it was the Lions Club that was associated with that skating rink and whatnot, and it was
I missed that.
yep. It never worked out. It demanded a certain set of weather situations of the ground freeze and then fill it with, they never put a lining or anything in it.
So the question is whether, I mean, do we want to involve ourselves in that kind of thing? I mean, certainly
Well, I would
for new, yeah, I mean,
that perhaps the Energy Committee, if they have some comment on that, to take it to
The school,
board.
right.
And address, because it's going to be Wyndham Southeast they're dealing with really ultimately, rather than even the Putney School. I mean, I think, aren't those decisions made?
Well, I don't know about.
There,
like,
that might just
parking lot, I
be,
would
that
think.
might just be a light switch, they might feel there's a safety issue for it, or,
I would think the school board would handle that though.
yeah,
wouldn't you?
sure, yeah.
Right, it was created
I'll
as a as a
I'll
parking
talk to the
lot.
chair of the school
Yeah.
board tonight.
You got connections.
Take one for the team.
Yeah, I mean, I think that a question, it's an energy question, which for us, obviously, it's not our energy, and not that recommendation shouldn't be made, but it's also a, quote unquote, light pollution question as to whether that's, if it doesn't, because I know that's come up with the front hallway in the school and stuff. If it doesn't need to be on, why is it on, so.
So yes, well, you bring up an interesting point, because light pollution is actually not on any of the criteria that I've read here. And it may be something that the Conservation Commission has written about in some of their work, and it may be somewhere in the town plan, but it's not here on the lighting policy. Also, under procedure for additional removal of lights, it doesn't seem reasonable to have a 1 and then a nothing after that, so.
A what?
Yeah, no,
It's number one.
Oh, yeah.
it's the
okay.
same with criteria number 3 that just has an A. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
just to,
I mean, I would definitely vote for some kind of light pollution.
Yeah, under sustainability, probably D,
The only thing is that if we're gonna put in a light pollution, or it's just like issues we have with noise, we need to be specific about what that means to us.
yeah.
Because just like noise, it's all subjective, and it has to do.
Well, maybe we should-
One of the things in this is that if there's a light that's gonna be added, discussing it with the people that are gonna be most effective, that live around it, to whether they have
Butters,
objections to that or
neighbors.
not.
Pip might also have an opinion about that
Yeah.
aspect of it.
I mean, I know
'cause
that's-
sort of more DRB/town plan related.
Yeah, I mean, we do have in our zoning the discussion about lights and downward casting and making sure that it's not, so, you know, it may be that we just need to add something to the effect of, you know, following the same zoning lighting criteria or something like that.
Yeah, complies, yeah, that would, well, do you want to follow up with Pep on that and see
Yeah,
what
okay.
he, just see what he would call it, and do you know, Carl? I mean, do you guys?
Full cutoff or downcast lighting
Yeah,
Yeah, that's actually,
seems to be what goes in most frequently in the permits.
even full cutoff is somewhat of a misnomer, as I've tried to explain, because what that means is that if you're at the plane of the light bulb,
You can't see it.
You would still see it.
Right.
And if you're above the light bulb, like if I was right at the plane of the desk, I couldn't see what's on the desk. And that's full cutoff. So anything below there, you would see light, and anything above that point, you wouldn't, which helps with the dark sky compliance. It helps keep light pollution away from the sky and whatnot. But it doesn't actually.
depending on
it's-
topography and
Yeah.
height of the light
So,
itself.
you know, my vote would be more than full cutoff to really maintain light where we want light and not where we don't.
I think, aren't we a little bit limited to what Green Mountain Power has when we're talking about a streetlight?
Well, they do offer some backlight shielding, and it was a point of interest of mine to actually get that installed in places on Main Street. So, yes, there are options to limit further the light on the backside of the road, you know, where houses might be.
So even if we can't get something as good as the library parking lot lights, which were really well designed, they can add some shielding.
Was there something about the shielding though that they did they not have it? Why did
Originally,
they
well,
not?
originally they were claiming that none of their lights had backlight shields, and then,
GMP?
yes, and for the streetlights, and then all of a sudden, that was an option, and so I requested it, and I think it went in several places along Main Street when they changed the lights out.
Is that a different fixture or just
No,
an
it's
addition you can put in there?
it's a
Little strip around it.
Okay.
Just, you know, each fixture, each
Very
manufacturer
high
has
tech.
a different option, and
So when we're looking at this policy, it needs to be clear in there if that's what's gonna be required, or if it, because,
I think
mean-
that would be, you know, it could be backlight shielding where appropriate. I mean, you know, I think somebody would have to make judgment calls on that essentially. So again, I think that's a discussion that Pip, you know, or it should be turned over to DRB or planning to review it and see what they think or something. I don't know. It's sort of out of our realm,
I
but
like that word.
which,
Backlight shielding when appropriate.
something along those lines.
It's a qualitative issue. I mean,
Yeah,
that
I
someone's
mean,
gotta-
you know,
Right.
and I think you could fairly easily, you know, that just seems sort of common sense.
I just know
That
they
they
haven't
should
put
be
the,
able to add
I just,
that, but-
I would say, I just know that they haven't done it to the ones that have been requested in Putney already, so I just wanna make
Right,
sure
but
that.
it's
yeah, if
mostly,
we
I would
ask
say it's
them-
mostly about new lighting
Yeah,
or requests
okay.
for new lighting or, you know, hey, if we're doing it, we might as well be thinking through that part of it, but.
Okay. So if you guys wanna look that over and just, you know, send, we won't do like a email discussion, but if you have additions or subtractions to it, just email it and then I'll try to incorporate it all and send out another draft before the next
Right.
meeting.
You'll send this to Pip though too?
Yeah.
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 And Daniel, obviously,
Yeah.
if you have input.
Sure. Thanks for moving along.
Baby steps, right?
There's been a lot of work put into this.
I know, lots of baby steps. It's just been, it's a process. You know?
Just have to step lately, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so that's, any other, on any issues, Carl, or, okay. Then do we need the executive session, no? No?
Actually, there is one thing.
Go ahead, go ahead.
So I noticed you have a town hall fire escape, and along with the fire escape, when I was doing the walkthrough with the energy weatherization company, we noticed the upper door to the fire escape leading outside from the inside has a large crack in it that lets air through, and it's just an old wooden door. And I may have a door that's metal clad that might work really perfectly. If the select board is interested in something like that, I could go take measurements and double check, or at least find a door that might be appropriate so that you can get a fire rated door in there, because that one isn't. So I don't know if that has anything to do with the.
I don't know whether it needs to be fire rated. I don't know. I guess we need to
I don't know, I had to use a hammer to get it shut.
Check
They
with
kept
Lisa about
opening.
check with Lisa about it, would be the first thing.
I'm pretty
And
sure if you
also-
needed to escape right now up there, you'd need a
You'd
hammer to,
have-
because it kept, we would sit here and we could hear it just banging. It was wide
And it
open.
cracked as a result.
I only hammered the lock, I didn't hammer the doors.
Yeah, right.
The poor people that live out back were like, please do something about the door.
Well, yeah, I mean, at one point Stevens was potentially going to evaluate it, but it was,
It was $750 just to evaluate that we gotta do something about that.
I know,
whole
well,
fire
maybe we should
escape.
just do that if we
Yeah.
don't have somebody else to do it. But, you know, if somebody's here evaluating it, maybe they could look at the door also. I mean, not that, I don't know whether there's code compliance issues with that door. If there was, before we changed it, it would probably make sense to know what the code compliant, and maybe Tom could answer that, I don't know, but.
If it's got those problems, it sounds like it needs fixing, why don't we just buy a door and fix it?
Well, we could do that too.
Is it,
I mean, let's just do it. I mean, it's gonna be, there'll be a door there. Even
I
if the
haven't seen
iron-
the door, so I
even
don't know
if
what the deal
iron
is.
fire
Listen, the
escape
amount
comes
of
down-
air that escapes through the front door
Yeah, exactly.
is about,
Yeah, right.
is enough to make me
it's the wind
wanna.
tunnel, yeah. That door isn't, I mean, I know the fire escape is, but any historical significance. I mean, that's why I was wondering about asking Lisa.
Right, no, I know.
Well, Lisa's the
How
one that
about-
told me to call Stevens.
You know, I
Okay.
hate to say it, but we probably could get a pretty penny for it, and, you know.
What, the fire escape?
Yes, and enough
But
to.
it certainly wouldn't give us what we need to replace it, because I'm sure what we would need to do to replace
It's pretty
it. would-
straightforward, you know, some
I-
steps up there, you know. I mean,
All right, so are you guys giving me the go-ahead to have Stevens come in and do what he needs to do?
I think we should do that to get it, I
Yes.
mean, we should get it evaluated. And-
I mean, well, you know, it's like going to your 2-day meeting, you know, you say, well, you know, it was good, it was informative, but it's.
Fire escape as well? Or is
What's that?
Yeah, it has to be,
Configuration?
somebody needs to come in and,
Our insurance company asked us to
Make sure it
get a
was structurally-
structural evaluation of the
Okay.
fire escape. So I, in the meantime, will do a structural evaluation of the door, if that's okay with everybody. And
Let's touch
we
base,
can
because
be
I
in
have a
touch
door.
about,
It might fit.
sounds good,
It's a nice door. It's got a big handle, you know, like one of those, just like the front door.
escape bar type
okay, so I
thing.
still, did I get the permission to do, am I, or are we?
Yeah, I mean, and that's what Lisa recommended too, right? So
Yeah, she
that's-
was the
'cause
one that I
that's-
called and she told me to call,
I mean, you called, I called,
So,
blanking on his name, Ted Fellows, a handful of times. He never returned your call.
okay. Yeah, we probably should do it before the insurance company shows up again.
Probably. Yeah.
They
So,
don't watch.
so yes,
Whatever, we're on. In the meantime, the door is really shut right now.
good.
Maybe a roll of duct
Unless
tape.
anybody needs to get out of it, then that's bad.
And we don't let people go up there.
I know. No, I mean, if we were using that space, I'd obviously be more concerned about it, but
Some liquid nails and some foam.
there you go.
Yeah, Kathleen.
I just wanted to say something else about the third listed position, is if by chance we didn't get anybody to come forward until like the democracy meeting that we do in December, it wouldn't stop us from moving forward and doing everything we needed to do. I mean, two of us can do everything that we've needed, you know? Yeah, so it doesn't stop us. I mean, it's not a bad thing to have a full board. That's a good thing. But I just mean that if we didn't, it wouldn't impair us. And then come December, when there was the democracy meeting and all the boards are, you know, canvassed, we would get somebody to run then, you know? So I just wanted you to know.
Great. That's good, actually.
Yeah.
Thanks. All right then, next meeting date's April 8th. How do I end the meeting?
You say,
Forcefully, you say that's
say
it.
I don't have a gavel.
entertain a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.